Hello, and welcome to my channel.
Hi guys, I was putting my hair.
He was brushing his hair.
Yep.
My name is Kat.
That's my mom.
I am the Nurse Flipper. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me. I have not done a little sit down and talk with you video in quite a while, and I thought I would do that today because there's been a lot going around for several months now concerning whether reselling is still a viable option to make a living. And I'm going to share with you my thoughts on that, as well as some things that, if you agree with me, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. I do think it is still a viable option, but if you agree with me, I'm going to share some tips that I think will help sustain your business through hard economic times, as well as increase your income. So we're going to talk about that here in a few seconds. So I am sure, like me, you have a reason for wanting to resell, whether it is for full-time income like myself, or it is for extra income to supplement possibly retirement or disability, or just make some fun vacation and spending money. And a lot of people have been saying, with the economy how it is currently, that reselling is no longer an option to make a full-time income. And I, as I said in the beginning, am going to completely disagree with that. If you saw my crazy little child, he is the reason that I am reselling. He actually has been really sick for the last week, and without being a full-time reseller, I would have to leave him for 15 hours a day to go to a nursing job. And while my husband can take adequate care of him, I personally like being here for him, and he is attached to me at the hip, so he likes me being here as well. So in order to do that, I think with the economy, you've got to take a step back and look at your business and see what needs to change to help you make it through these harder economic times and let you continue to do what you want to do. Now, if you want to go back to that 9 to 5, or if you are a nurse like me and you want to go back to that 7 to 7 shift, then by all means do it. However, if you are like me, you love reselling, you want to be home with your family, and it saves money, right? We're not spending gas going to and from work. I lived an hour from work, and you're not eating out. I know I was buying my lunches and things like that. So it does save money in certain areas of your life. But when sales are slow, it's very, very hard. And that's why when you are a full-time reseller, I think you really need to keep your options open. So I'm going to discuss things that I think are really important right now, and also they are important all the time. However, some of them are things that I would not suggest to you if sales were not low and the economy wasn't like it is. And the number one thing I think that you can do is to decrease your cost. And I kind of had a blessing in disguise. My assistant quit, and that's saving me hundreds of dollars a week. And my eBay, I've been able to maintain pretty close to where it was when she was working for me. So I don't know that right now, if you've been questioning whether or not to hire somebody, I don't know that right now is the right time. If your sales are not steady where you want them to be, where you could afford an employee, then I think that is something that I would probably delay for a little while. Now, the second thing is your cost. You really need to look at your cost, and if you can decrease your cost, that's more profit that is coming into you. And there are a few things. Number one is storage. So I am lucky enough, I have a large property, and I am able to have sheds and I don't have to pay a storage fee. So for a lot of people, you might have 1, 2, maybe even 3 storage units. I would suggest trying to condense that down, make it into only 1 storage unit versus 2 or 3 if you're at all possible, because when you decrease those overhead costs, then you are making more money, right? So that is our goal here, is to make as much as we need to pay our bills. That is the number one priority for me. It is not vacation. It is, I'm not really a like clothes or purse kind of person. So it's not ever that for me. Lately, it's been resin art stuff. And luckily I can sell some of that as I make it, but that has been my major expense here lately. So decrease those costs, and that might mean moving it back into the garage. That might mean moving it back into the spare bedroom, which is something that most of us do not want. However, if it, to me, was a choice of moving this stuff back into a spare bedroom or having to go back to a typical job, I would rather have this stuff in my house. So it might be that point in your business where you have to make some difficult decisions, and decreasing your overhead costs is definitely a big thing that you could do. Another thing is making sure that you are getting your shipping supplies and your packing supplies as cheaply as possible. And that might mean asking friends and neighbors for boxes if you have the time. We go through too many to make that really a viable option for us, but I do price comparisons, and you can buy in larger quantities to get those items for a lower cost. Your packing paper or peanuts, recycle them. I have a lot of Amazon boxes come in, and I keep all those boxes. I keep the air bubbles. I keep the bubble wrap. I keep all of those shipping supplies to reuse them. And again, it might be an eyesore in your house, but the bottom line is saving money and kind of making it through this hard time doing what you love. If you're like me, this is something that I absolutely love doing, and there's nothing else that I really want to do. Now, third, as far as decreasing your costs, would be to buy lower. So you might previously have said, okay, I'll pay up to 25% of an item of what I expect it to sell for. You might want to drop that down to 20% or maybe even 15%. Personally, I try and get everything at about 10% of what it's going to sell for, and that's going to kind of translate me into what I want to tell you as far as making more sales. So if you have been smart in your business and you have bought smart, and that is one of the things we say pretty frequently on our Tuesday night reseller podcast, you make your money in the buy. You don't make that money when that item when it sells. You make it when you buy it. So buying as low as possible is the number one thing to get you more profits. Now, beyond buying lower, you could buy online where you're not using gas. I actually source over 90% of my inventory online. I don't have to leave the house. I don't use gas. I do use a lot of time searching, so it's not necessarily a time saver, but it is a money saver as far as gas, and those items are shipped to me. So I do have to pay for the shipping, but in the location that I am in, there are not very many good thrift stores within less than an hour of me. So I have to travel, and then if I'm gone for multiple hours, I have to stop, buy lunch. Things like that can really add up if you are going out regularly. Another thing, and I know a lot of you are not going to want to hear this, is if you have inventory that is sitting waiting to be listed, don't buy anymore. And I am abiding by that myself as far as eBay. Now, for Whatnot, I sell 500 to 700 items a week. So I am constantly sourcing for that, though I'm not right now because I won about 50 lots in an online jewelry auction. So I'm probably good for about a month worth of sales. I have not been looking for the past 2 weeks since I won those lots. I still actually have boxes to go through. And if you have stuff that you've already put money out for, list it. pretty simple concept. And I know a lot of people said the death pile kind of saved them when we went on lockdown. Well, we're not on lockdown anymore. And honestly, lockdown didn't slow me down when I buy online. I wasn't worried I couldn't go to thrift stores because I get all my stuff online. So if you have stuff already there, and for me, that's really hard because most of the stuff I've already sifted through and it's kind of the leftovers on lots, but that's free money to me. I am already in the profit in pretty much everything that is sitting in my death pile in those buys. So listing those items, even if they're lower priced or less desirable, I'm listing more inventory at no additional cost to myself. So that is very, very important. And I will tell you, we're still running about $8,000 to $9,000 a month in sales on eBay. So that's about $4,000 in profit typically for me. And that is down from a year ago. I was selling $20,000 a month on eBay and making about $9,000 in profit. So that's $5,000 less. Now I am putting less time into it because I am selling on Whatnot a lot. And that is just part of being fluid in your business and figuring out what works. And that goes into me saying, what can you do to get more sales? So you're doing your listings, you are not buying, you're saving money where you can. So what can you do to get more sales? So I recently talked about in a video, ending and selling similar. I have been an anti end and sell similar person for the last 3 years. And I am now going back on that and saying it works. I have been doing it for almost a month now, and I am seeing tons of older inventory move out that has been sitting here for years. And I am very, very happy with the results. And a lot of you have asked how that works. All you do, and how I have been doing it, is I will, on your seller hub, there is a portion that says ending today. That means those auctions or listings. I rarely do auctions. That was kind of a misspeak there. So all of those listings are ending that day, and they are going to roll over and count against your listings for the next month. So what I do is I click on ending today, and for me it's typically 100 to 200 ending per day because I have 6,000 listings. So I will click on them and I will choose, lately it's been about 100 of the oldest listings. I have only been doing listings that have been listed 6 months or longer, and I do not pay attention to if they have watchers. I don't pay attention to how many views they have. I just go to the 100 oldest listings, I end them, and then I go into my listings and unsold, and I click those 100 listings. I set up the column to where I view 100 at a time, and I click sell similar. I was asked if I am changing the price. Am I changing the title? Am I changing the photos? I am not doing any of that. I am simply ending them and selling similar, not changing the price, not changing anything else. Now, if you have the time, I'm sure that you possibly could maximize the potential. So you could maximize that by going in and tweaking the pictures if they need it, changing the title, changing the price. You could recomp things. That's all stuff that I just simply do not have time for right now. So I am simply ending and selling similar, and I have been seeing fantastic results from that. So if you're not doing it, I definitely recommend doing that. Now, another way to get sales up is to list more. That is always, whether the economy is crap or not, that is always the way to get more sales, is to list more. You can either list more, or you can raise your average sales price. You can look for only items that sell for $20 plus, $50 plus, $100 plus, wherever you feel is right for your business model. So for me, I am listing those death pile items, and a lot of them are $5, $10, $15 items, but I'm not paying anything for them. So when I start sourcing again, I will be targeting higher dollar items. And when I say that, I mean like those 100, 200. I just had a $1,500 bracelet sale last week. those will increase your profit with less work. You might have to put more money out in the beginning, but your profit is going to be more. So increasing the amount you're selling, increasing your average sales price, this will all help you to get more money coming in. Now, this next part might be a little controversial to some of you resellers, and I might get a little bit of flashback from that, but it's okay. I can take the heat. I recommend sending offers at a higher percent off. You are going to get buyers' attention a little bit more if you're sending them a higher percent off. So we typically were sending between 10 and 25%. Now I am sending 15 to 25%. I have not went higher, but I am seeing more offers accepted in that 25% off range. And that comes with accepting offers as well. If you're having a really slow sales day or you haven't had any sales yet, you might want to take 30 or 40% off your asking price to hopefully kick that algorithm into gear and get you more sales. And it does work that way. I've seen it over and over again. So before you hit decline or counter offer, really think to yourself, how much did I pay for this item? How much profit am I going to make? And is this worth possibly kicking that algorithm into gear and getting more sales? Another thing, and a lot of you don't promote right now. If you do not, I suggest trying it. If you are one of the people that only promote at 2%, I suggest trying trending rate. And yes, that might be 8% or 10%. So you are essentially almost doubling your eBay fees. And no, none of us want to give any more money to the platforms. However, if giving them an extra 10% can get you an extra $100 or an extra $1,000 in sales in a week, why would you not do it if you have bought smart? If you have paid too much, this one might not be an option for you. For me, it is an option because I always buy very, very low and I have room for that extra 10%. And I always like to think of it too, with Poshmark, I'm paying 20%. So even if I'm promoting at 8% on eBay, I'm still coming close to that 20% I would pay on Poshmark anyways. And if you are not on other platforms, that is a big game changer, especially with the economy how it is. So we use List Perfectly. I talk about them all the time. I will be a guest at their camp listing party in Phoenix at the end of June. And they are a great addition to your business to get your items out in front of more eyes. The people that use eBay are not the people that use Poshmark, are not the people that use Etsy. It is really different demographics. There are very few people that have more than one favorite platform. So you are hitting different audience bases with that. If you're doing kid clothes, I would think about Kidizen. If you are doing men's fashion or vintage stuff, I would think about Depop and Grailed. Look at these different platforms. Whether you use List Perfectly or not, it will expand your business. And I'm going to talk about Poshmark here in a second, and something that I didn't know that was possible, and it really bumped my Poshmark sales over the weekend, and I'm like completely impressed with it. It did take me a couple hours to do, but it is working. So if you haven't tried List Perfectly or any of the other cross-posting platforms or programs, give it a try. List Perfectly, I have a code. You can get 30% off your first month. Give it a try. If it doesn't work and you don't see more sales, and you should see them pretty immediately, then turn it off. But it is worth a try. So if you would like to, my code is the Nurse Flipper, all one word. You will get 30% off your first month and start expanding your business. If you're not getting the sales you want, all of this stuff I have talked about should help you increase your sales. Now, let's talk about this Poshmark thing. And I do want to give credit to Mark. His name is OG&Z here on YouTube. Mark just put out his first video. He is a good friend of mine in person as well as here on YouTube. He is one of my main moderators in the Tuesday night reseller podcast. So check out Mark OG&Z if you have not yet, and watch his first video. Leave him a comment. Tell him you sent it. Tell him that I sent you. I'm having a little trouble speaking today. So I saw Mark post a story over on Instagram, and I don't really have much time to scroll on Instagram, but I clicked on his story and he showed sending 500 offers on Poshmark, and I was like, what? How do I do this? And I know a lot, but I do not know everything, and I learned stuff from you all the time that I was not aware of. I also, before I tell you what I did, please leave down in the comments if you have ideas or suggestions for everybody watching this that could help them increase their sales. Please leave them down in the comments. You guys get a thread going, help each other. That is what we are here for, is to support each other and help each other grow our businesses. So back to Poshmark. So I saw Mark listed, or he put that he sent 500 offers, and I'm like, how did you do this? So Mark walked me through. I go to my closet on Poshmark on my phone. There's a little wrench. You hit that, and then it says send offers. I knew I could send offers to likers, but I did not know that I could do it in bulk. So 2 hours later, no joke, 2 hours of scrolling, because I had 2,800 offers that I could send. 2,800. I sent 2,800 offers with 20% off and $5.95 shipping. And you will see on Thursday with my what sold, and yes, I am giving you a cliffhanger here. You're gonna have to wait till Thursday to see how many I sold. But I spent those 2 hours sending offers, and I will tell you it did pay off. I'm not gonna tell you how good. You'll have to wait until Thursday to see that. But I wanna say thanks to Mark, because I had no clue that I could even do that. And doing more like that, sending more offers, whether it's on eBay, on Poshmark, you can also promote your item on Mercari. You can send offers to likers on Mercari. There's no way to bulk do that I am aware of, though. I wish that there was. So sending those offers out, being a little more proactive in your business, if you have not been, will help you get more sales. All right, so what else can we do to get more sales? We can go to those other platforms like Etsy, Posh, Mercari, Kitizen, Depop, Grailed. There are tons of them. Go to those different platforms. My favorite one, if you do not know, is Whatnot. I have really enjoyed doing live sales, and I do have a video on that. I will pop it up at the top for you if you would like some tips and tricks for Whatnot. And on that video is my link for a referral for you to become a seller. So Whatnot is working for me. It will not work for all of you. I can guarantee you that right now. You have to be able to find a lot of inventory really, really cheap, and you have to be personable, pay attention to the chat, and it is just a lot of components, but I absolutely love it. There are other ways though. You could go to the flea market. You could have a garage sale. You can run an online auction. So there are a lot of things. And when I say online auction, I mean, some people contact me with jewelry. This is just an example. And it's not stuff that I feel would sell well to my customer base. And they have put them up in lots for other resellers on eBay to buy. Mercari as well. Mercari is great for selling lots of jewelry. That goes for everything. If you have a bunch of lower dollar price, bundle it up, auction it off, or just sell it on Mercari or Posh, wherever you would like. And that way you're garnering more sales. So if those items aren't worth it to you to list individually, they might be worth it to somebody else. Somebody else might be willing to take the time and do it. So definitely look at that. You can, again, flea market, garage sale. And the last thing I will say is network. Network on here, on YouTube, network on Instagram, on Facebook. Make contacts. That will help you both in buying and selling. And if you can get a good following, you can sell directly from the social media platforms. Might not be for everybody, but I just wanted to throw it out there. So my overall thought on this, is it dying? It's not dying, but it is a little bit rough right now. However, if you are determined, you can make it through it. If you want to go back to that 9 to 5 or 7 to 7, definitely do it. I don't want to tell anybody to do anything they don't want to do, but I'm telling you, there are options, and it definitely is possible to make a full-time income as a reseller. So hold your head up, be positive. I think thinking positive and kind of manifesting things is incredibly powerful. And if you think you can do it, you can. So you really have to keep your motivation up, keep your energy up, and have a positive outlook on it. Don't listen to all the naysayers. Don't let all of that affect you. That will affect your mood, it'll affect your productivity, and it'll just suck. It'll suck. So if you've listened to me ramble this long, I appreciate you. I, again, have not talked like this with you for quite a while, and I miss it. I miss it. I like talking with you guys. So I hope it's been helpful. Again, if you have more tips or more suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. If you did not already, hit that like button. If you got a friend that's a naysayer, share this video with them. Maybe they'll change their mind. I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for Thursday for what sold after I sent 2,800 offers out on Poshmark. I will see you on that one.